Hey, we're back. So I decided to go ahead and put the prop together. So you can see how I'm using two different diameters of solder to create the prop blade collars, right? And we want to make sure we get everything square. That's the most important part of it. In addition to the finish, the way the blades look and all that. So to make these rings, we just wrap the solder around a suitable diameter. In this case I used the paintbrush handle, about the same diameter as the base of the blade. I don't want to wrap the solder here because you have to pull it kind of tight, and I don't want it to put indentations on that. So you find something else that's the same diameter that you're after, or close to it, and you clip both ends with the end nippers, so you've got a flat cut on each side, and then just run that together, and you can see that's pretty good. Now we're going to have the connection at the back of the blade, just in case it should spread a little bit as we're putting it onto the blade. So, and you can see this one did split just a little bit, but it's behind the blade and it won't show unless you go looking for it. And I mean, who would do that, right? I mean, besides us. Alright, so here you can see we got one clean cut and one not clean cut because of the way I snip these off. So these are the flat end cutters, so we just turn the flat side of the blade to the end we're trying to clean up, pop it off, and press the solder together, and you've got a nice perfect ring. Well, almost perfect. Nothing's perfect. We try to get close, but you know. Alright, so you got, they're just pressed on there. I haven't glued those onto there yet. I don't want that glue there yet. And then we just put the glue here pretty liberally. And so now the trick is to keep everything square. Press that in, make sure we get the right incidence, the right angle to the dangle. Hold that in there for a second while she gets a bite. And then press the rings down onto the surface of the spinner prop hub. Give it a quick turn just to see how the alignment looks. We're leaning a little forward, so I'm going to have to rake it back just a bit backwards and take another look at it. We are going to need a drop of glue back here on these. They didn't want to hold on to anything. Just put a drop right there. That'll be enough to secure them. And to make sure we got a good right angle to the other two blades, we want to make sure we have that. Then you can check that with any 90-degree template. I had one here. Now it's gone. So business card, it's probably a 90. You want to try and make sure that they align at a 90-degree angle. And if we check both sides, we should be alright. If we go center line to center line, here we'll have to cut the card to do that, but we can do it. Alright, so now we can check center line to center line with the card. Center line of each prop looks pretty good. Looks pretty good, right? And that's all it has to be, is reasonably good to the eye bulb. Okay, so that's 3 done. And let's get the last one going. Skinny ring on top. Clean up that end first. Drag it together so it's nice and flat. Pop it on here with the seam of the ring in the back of the blade, not facing forward, facing rearward. There she goes. Let's get the big ring, clean it up, close it up. There she is. Excuse me. And then slide that up about the same distance to start with. Make sure they're aligned. It's not super critical, it just, you know, overall aesthetically helps if things are in some kind of alignment. Always, it's always helpful if they are. That fits into the opening. Got the proper incidence, which is the angle of the blade. Hold it in there long enough for it to get a hold of its own. Pop the rings down onto the collar and add a drop of insurance. Go around the horn and just add a drop in the back here at every point. And that'll keep those blade collars, as we're calling them, aligned. So there's your 4-blade Hamilton standard. I think was it a Hamilton standard on this airplane, or was it a what's the other one? Hartnell. Maybe it was a Hartnell. I don't know. But there it is. Pretty good. I wonder how that looks on the airplane. Oh, pretty good. That is a big prop. Here, I'll let's take the camera down. I'll show you what I mean. That's a big propeller. The little girl had a massive windmill up front. We're still rolling. Sorry about the angles. But there it is. P-47 prop. Alright, the blade collars, they look pretty good with just a couple rings of solder. Make it look almost like we knew what we were doing. Almost. Everything's at a right angle. Everything's got the right incidence. The blades are slightly turned. That way, if somebody were to put the old air circulation fan and point it at this airplane, well, that propeller would probably spin. Anyway, look at that. All right. Anyway, that's our deal. That's my story for now. Have a good day.